Good, you?
Okay. Santa. I'm thinking of my hot tub with my sauna.
Yeah.
It's the old song costume.
Okay.
You guys, 2, 4, and 7?
Anything to be concerned
Yes.
about? Or?
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, they turned the heat on in the
Appreciate that.
building, so
Thanks.
we
I-
either
It's
freeze
working.
it-
It's
we either
working.
freeze it or we
It's
melt.
just usually before the close.
We have fans
I'll see
going
you in a
like
while.
it's, you know, 80
Yeah.
outside.
Thank you.
In
It's not that bad.
in the summertime, we have heaters under the desk. In the wintertime, we have fans.
Oh
So
my gosh.
we just can't get it right. We apologize.
No, it's not your fault.
Nobody would like to fix it more than us, trust me.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You walk in the morning with your jacket on, and like the heat takes your breath away. You can't.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like this is actually one of the cooler rooms. You go into the cubicles with all the computers and everything, and you're just.
I'd rather it be too cold.
Yeah, we can always put stuff on,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
kind of,
For sure.
it's frowned upon, but
Yeah.
I went out to
the other option, right?
I went out to my car and I thought I had steam coming off of me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You walk out the
And imagine the guys and girls out on the road and they've got like, long johns on and
Yeah.
stuff, and they come in here to write a report. It's just,
Yeah.
it's like one extreme to the other, right?
I felt it coming off the elevator. Glad when I came in here, it was cooler.
It's a little bit cooler.
Walking out of the airport, there's always.
For sure. Glasses immediately woke up.
And I can handle that. I can handle a dry heat, but people, turn your oven on to 130 and put your head in there, right? It's still hot. The hottest I've ever been, I was in the Middle East, it was 134 degrees one day. Our boots were melting to the ground. You had to wear gloves and everything.
Hey.
Touch you burn your hands. And I don't do so well in the sun. So.
Good, how's everything going?
It's going really well, I can tell.
You're here so early.
Oh, really? Still in school? Right, you can come back.
Can you teach some of them how to do this job?
Well, there's some more than others, but yes.
I don't know.
He's not hired as a consultant.
Heard the
Connie's
elevator.
good.
They've been there's still some
Yeah.
companies to learn. And Nate. Dave's got a good nose. He has a sense of humor.
But he doesn't know how to execute.
I take it back. He doesn't have a sense of
No. Like his idea is breaking news at 5 for everyone else because he's downriver. And his idea is to put it in Slack and send it to you at night instead of actually calling it physically. That's his idea. That's not any sense of humor. And that was the fire of the whole department.
Yeah, we know. The best example I can give you is if you, Dave, and Nate said, that same story at the same time, the first call I would receive would come from you. The second call I would receive you.
Yeah, because
After Dave had done everything he was supposed to do, that he thought he was supposed to do before he called me, was Dave. And with Nate, you'd be like, I'm not sure what to do.
yeah, because they always say, well, we're working to get it confirmed. No. You send the crew down there. Send the crew. Send the crew. They don't like it's.
We're the tip of the spear. I can confirm it for you. I can tell you this is what it is.
Yeah. Or this.
But that's there are photons
What?
that will give you shit that lost you.
This is big. This is
Either
big.
way, by the time you shoot it, that's a plus.
He's got, Wednesday we're going to see my beer course.
I have my bills getting off.
Yeah. So what are you wearing?
I mean, like, he worked for Fox News in Cincinnati
To
a
work.
long time ago. Like, I'm not really sure what he did.
Yeah, it might
and
be-
it's just
it
like,
might be a great day.
he's all over those, like, talking, and we do this, but then when you get down to it, he don't have anything.
Yeah, but he
And
got
I'm like,
feedback
well,
from
did you
colleges.
ask them?
Yeah,
Well, no, we could certainly ask them.
They're
He's
more
just,
happy to
he's
go.
all like smoke and mirrors.
I can see that.
Yep. That's,
Oh, you know, Sean
I can see
seems
that.
great, you know, himself,
That's
like,
what,
he
was
was
it
wrong
Wayne-
that he didn't get the
Wayne
news
State
director
said that.
position. Well, you're not good at it. You're not qualified. Like, Shaw's just like, oh, I'm sure, everything's great.
Fire, Jerry.
But still, you know. He's not, he's fine, I mean, I haven't really talked to him, but he seems fine, you know.
Maybe she gave you.
Not me. That was all you guys.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. Report, yeah. I'm like, I said, wrong thing.
To a lot of us, the trajectories are certain.
Okay.
Once we
How old is it?
get a better sense of leadership is leading us, then
Oh,
the general direction is
And
street.
you don't get the fancy out of me one time a year. That's that people want to say.
I was like, was that a Halloween to dress like a princess?
Oh, okay. Listen, to respect the princess, you know, being one of us.
And I'm talking
I do, because at least people know where you are.
technical.
Maybe you guys should just.
Yeah,
I called the guy today.
Yeah.
To,
But Jesus was in the hammer. They all give us the hammer guy. There you go.
You don't know Dave Cooley?
I am, he and I are both like Ohio County.
Oh,
sorry.
so you haven't seen him before. It's not like a secret.
Oh, yeah.
Dispute over parking.
And not this 12-hour shift.
Stupid, what's that? Cars driving to you. She's a great woman, every day and all this stuff.
What did that do to you? Right.
Wish Tom was here.
Right.
I don't have to come in there and show you the video.
Something that is dispute over something you guys, somebody was
But it's fine. It's there.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. I'm Deputy Chief Aaron Hughley. I oversee the Investigations Division and serve as the agency's Public Information Officer. Standing here with me today is Southfield Chief of Police, Elvin V. Barron, Deputy Chief Jeffrey Jagowski, who oversees our Patrol Division, and Detective Lieutenant Mustafa Beasley. Today, Chief Barron will update the public regarding a police pursuit. The incident occurred on Friday, October 31st, 2025 at approximately 3:33 a.m. It involved a 19-year-old driver of a stolen vehicle who fled from Southfield officers and ultimately crashed in the city of Detroit. I ask that you please hold all of your questions until the conclusion of the press briefing and turn off or mute any cell phones or other electronic devices. A press packet is available on the back table, which includes a USB drive of all files presented here today. Also, for record-keeping purposes, we ask that you complete our media sign-in sheet. And without any further delay, Chief Barron.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. And as always, thank the media for your patience. I know you all were calling on Friday for an update. It was important for us to conduct a thorough investigation. Anytime there's a vehicular pursuit involving Southfield officers, we need to take the time to review body cam video, also dash cam video, just to ensure that our policies and our procedures were followed. And I will tell you, in this case, our policies and procedures were followed by Southfield police officers. I do want to start off by acknowledging the victim, the individual who was struck by the fleeing suspect. The victim is still listed in critical condition, mainly because of some fractures that he suffered during the impact of the collision. I also want to thank the Detroit Police Department, particularly their Fatal Squad. Anytime there's a vehicular pursuit ending in the crash. DPD primarily sends their fatal squad to conduct the investigation, and so we're thankful for that. And also the Detroit Fire Department, who responded as well and was able to transport the victim to a local hospital for treatment. One thing I want to continue to point out, in Southeast Michigan, we continue to have a problem with individuals stealing cars and car parts, and certainly Southfield Police Department, as we partner with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office and other surrounding agencies, we're going to continue to combat these issues and bring these suspects into custody. On Friday, October 31st, at approximately 3:30 a.m., Southfield officers were on patrol in the area of 8 Mile and Northland Drive when they observed a 2021 orange Dodge Challenger with black racing stripes. The Dodge Challenger was reported stolen 30 minutes prior from Henry's Ford Hospital, the Southfield location, which is located at 16001 9 Mile Road. Southfield officers observed the stolen Challenger and attempted to initiate a traffic stop at westbound 8 Mile and Southfield Freeway. The stolen Challenger came to a partial stop and immediately accelerated at a high rate of speed away from our officers who were attempting to box him in. The suspect driver disregarded traffic control devices and failed to stop for officers who were in fully marked police vehicles equipped with audible lights and sirens. The driver, who we identified as 19-year-old Khalib Neal, resident of Warren, was wearing a dark-colored jacket with the hood pulled over his head. Neal was the lone occupant inside of the stolen Challenger. Neal continued to flee from Southfield officers at speeds greater than 100 miles per hour. Southfield officers pursued Neal into the city of Detroit, southbound on Lasser Road from 8 Mile. The pursuit was terminated at approximately 3:36 a.m. Southfield officers immediately turned off their emergency lights and sirens and decreased their speeds, and you'll see that in the video. However, the suspect continued fleeing. The suspect disregarded a red signal at Lasher and Grand River in the city of Detroit and struck a 2010 Toyota Corolla that was being driven by our victim. Southfield officers reactivated their emergency lights and sirens, responded to the accident scene, and observed the suspect fleeing on foot from the stolen Dodge Challenger. The suspect was apprehended shortly thereafter by Southfield police officers. The victim, who was identified as a 25-year-old male resident of Detroit, was transported to an area hospital due to the injuries sustained in this crash. And again, our thoughts and prayers do continue with our victim and his family. So you ask, well, why was the suspect fleeing from Southfield officers? One, obviously, in a stolen vehicle. The second, we discovered that he had a stolen Glock pistol with an extended magazine inside of the vehicle. And also, he had a Pro Pad, which is used by car thieves to start up some of these newer model vehicles. The Glock was reported stolen out of the city of Detroit sometime last year, according to the registered owner of the handgun. When you look at the suspect's history, there's no documented history. However, due to this investigation, then multiple police agencies have reached out because he's also a person of interest in crimes committed in their cities. And again, these are multiple agencies in Southeast Michigan. And I also want to point out, when we have vehicular pursuits, whether they're terminated or not, the responsibility, who's the responsible? So the sole responsibility of this pursuit ending in an accident is the suspect driver. Our police officers acted according to our policies, our procedures, and again, you will see that play out in the vehicle. What I'm very fortunate is that we were able to apprehend the suspect immediately following the collision. That way, the victim and the victim's family will get the justice that they need and have somebody to be held accountable for his actions. So as a result of this investigation and collaboration with the Detroit Police Department, he will be receiving charges in 2 separate counties. There'll be charges coming from Wayne County and also Oakland County. I'll start with the Wayne County charges first. So the Wayne County prosecutor has charged Khalib Neal with count 1, fleeing, second degree. Count 2, driving causing serious impairment of a body function. Count 3, failure to stop at the scene of an accident resulting in serious impairment or death. Count 4, stolen property, receiving and concealing motor vehicle. He received a $50,000 cash bond. His next court date in Wayne County will be November 4th at 9 a.m. Oakland County. The Oakland County prosecutor has authorized charges. We'll have him arraigned tomorrow morning. So we are announcing the pending charges from Oakland County, and that will be count 1, fleeing and eluding second degree. Count 2, felony firearm. Count 3, unlawful driving away of a motor automobile. Count 4, felony firearm. Count 5, burglary tools, possession with intent to steal a motor vehicle. And count 6, carrying a concealed weapon. So we switch over to the next slide. I'm going to show you what the weapon looks like with the extended magazine. And I'll hold here for a second. And then we go to the next slide. We'll show you the pro pad that the suspect used to start up the vehicle. Again, many car thieves are aware that this device aids them in their ability to steal newer modern cars. And again, he was in possession of that, and obviously it worked because he got away with this vehicle, again, stolen out of Henry Ford Hospital, Southfield location, again, 30 minutes prior to our officers having contact with him. So we're going to start. I'm going to show video of the pursuit. You can lower the lights and give the media a chance to refocus on the screen. You guys let me know when you're ready. All right. The beginning will not have audio. It'll kick in momentarily. We're going to attempt to box him in. At this point, you'll see he was able to evade the officers.
You stop in. And watch it. See me take off. That's not me. That's not you.
Clearing traffic for Maryland.
Still westbound. Coming up to Greenfield. Speeds up 100. No traffic. Like weather. Still westbound, coming up to Green, speeds of 120, clear weather, clear traffic. Through Evergreen, speeds of 80, clear weather, clear traffic.
You won't be able to see the impact of the collision due to the officers decreasing their speed, but you will see the plume. He just terminated. He slowed his car down. He heard the collision. Life is EMS.
southbound, it's gonna be at, Gray River.
Still in the vehicle?
He's going on foot.
Number on foot, southbound of River.
To radio, he's fleeing southbound, it's gonna be at, Gray River.
Still in the vehicle?
He's fleeing on foot.
Number on foot, southbound of River. 32 for description, we have it.
630, we want to talk to you right now.
Okay, getting my husband.
This for his for you is under by Detroit. They took out a vehicle. That video checking out again.
They're getting ready to pull up with you.
Again, despite his actions, we arrested him with professionalism. So at this point, have you refocused, turn lights back on? Then I'll open up the floor for questions. Thank you.
So were any shots fired?
No shots were fired. And if you're referring to the gun, basically he had the gun in the vehicle. As a result of the collision, it ejected. After the collision, we were able to locate it.
Can you speak to the condition of the victim?
Yeah, again, listed in critical condition. Primarily what I've learned due to some fractures that he sustained, some lacerations to his face.
Are they life-threatening?
So they're non-life-threatening, what we're told. And again, we're hoping it remains in non-life-threatening. But we'll continue to check on him as the days proceed.
How were you able to confirm that that was the actual gun, or that was his gun? You said you found it in the street. How do you know that that was his gun?
Yes, so due to the proximity of how the accident occurred and how it ejected, he was in very close proximity to the vehicle.
Do you have fingerprints on the weapon?
We're running all that as we speak. Yeah.
Was the video edited as such, or do you have like a total pursuit time?
So the total pursuit time would be around 4 minutes.
Okay. We've had these conversations with Warren and other departments, not meant to second guess.
Right.
Also appreciating that you guys probably have a policy internally that you don't want to necessarily share specifics, because if there's limits, people may come and have ill intent and et cetera. But my point is, officer discretion, it's the impossible second guess with 20/20 hindsight of, how and when to call off. I mean, how would you weigh out, not let alone this one, but just in general, the difficulty that puts people in the department in?
Yeah, and actually I appreciate the question. Even with the question about policy, I tell you the policy is very clear. We look for felony offenses. And when I arrived at Southfield, when I noticed how many domestic violence incidents that were responded to, I actually modified the policy to include domestic violence, even though misdemeanor offenses. Because what we learned in so many cases, the suspects will leave and then double back and harm the victims. So while that emotion is high, I did authorize that for domestic violence, misdemeanors, and certainly felonies, that we will make an attempt to apprehend those suspects out of interest of those victims. When it comes to the officers and supervisors as well, because that's the accountability when it comes to the Southfield Police Department, are you following our policies and procedures? I do commend the officer for attempting to apprehend the suspect. You've seen us multiple times do box-in techniques and even pit maneuvers. We weren't able to do that, that particular skill or technique with pit maneuver. However, the officer, at the appropriate time, he determined, although the speeds were moderate, the traffic was moderate to light, he did determine it was best interest of the department to terminate. However, as you saw in the video, the suspect continued to flee. And that happens so many times across law enforcement, where law enforcement will terminate. And we say terminate, we deactivate our lights and sirens, reduce our speeds to allow the suspect to know that we're not furthering this pursuit. However, they're going to keep riding at high rates of speed because they want to get as far away from law enforcement as they can, which is played out in this particular episode. And so the policy is clear. We hold individuals accountable for our policy. But in this case, again, you've seen it for yourself, Officers followed our policy, was very responsible in this chase, and they are commended for at least making the attempt. It is an unfortunate outcome, but as I said before, there's only one person responsible for the outcome of this particular pursuit, and that's that suspect driver who, by the way, violated criminal processes and disregarded our police officers as they attempted to use our lights and sirens to stop that vehicle, which is the law. And so, again, our officers acted within policy and procedure.
So how much time lapsed from the time that they stopped the pursuit to the crash?
If I estimated maybe 40 seconds, that's just an estimation. It was a very short time frame. I think you can see that in the video, because he announces, I'm terminating. You see his speed reduce, and that's why we weren't able to capture the actual impact, because he did terminate pursuit, allow for that gap between suspect and police vehicle, but unfortunately, as I stated earlier, the suspect continued to flee and did disregard a traffic signal and did collide and T-bone our victim.
I mean, this really sucks for the victim.
Oh, absolutely.
Innocent bystander.
Yeah, innocent bystander.
Hard time.
Yes, yes, yes. Very sad, but that's why I mentioned before there was the utmost importance. Had he gotten away, would have been another disappointing factor in this. But at least in this case, for our victim, there will be somebody that's going to be held accountable for these actions, not only in Oakland County, but also Wayne County. So multiple charges have been presented, and multiple charges are forthcoming in this investigation.
Is there body cam footage, and if so, will that be made available?
Well, we pretty much gave you everything you needed, but as I always tell anybody, if you want more, certainly let us know, or FOIA it, however you go. What you've seen, what happened, we're very transparent. One thing about this police department, and as I lead this police department, we're going to always come out very quickly with information. I know sometimes there's delays and things that go on from other agencies across the country, but we're going to pride ourselves in, no matter what happened, we're going to show the video, and then if we need to take accountability, we'll do that. If we need to show the public what happened so that they understand, we'll do that. But we're going to always be and I'll use your word, a transparent police department in a short period of time. That way the public trust is never ruined by waiting long periods of time and then not showing exactly what transpired, as we've done here this afternoon.
I saw in the video, no shots fired, no tasers deployed. That takes incredible discipline on the part of your officers.
Yeah, and again, I'm gonna thank you as well for bringing up the fact that sometimes when you've seen it happen across the country, police chases, and and even in the state of Michigan, sometimes with emotions running due to suspects' behavior, you may not have the most disciplined, officers, but as you see it, we're very disciplined. This is a very significant chase. It resulted in injury, but on video, you see Southfield police officers continue their professionalism, tackled him, put him in handcuffs, stood him up, and escorted him to our vehicle so we can transport him, one, for treatment, because he did sustain some minor lacerations. And that's the sad part about this. You have the 25-year-old male with significant injuries, and then a person who's responsible for this escapes with minor lacerations. And so, yes, I do feel the same way you feel as relates to this innocent person having serious injuries while the suspect who caused this having minor lacerations.
I have a couple more, if I may. If I heard right, speeds upwards of 120, so were officers at 100 miles an hour-ish also?
Correct.
And I don't mean to ask this as a second guess,
Right.
so I want to preface that, and I think it's important to say that. But I am curious if you're able to articulate after 3 minutes, 4 minutes, at what point or what led in this instance the officer to decide to disengage? Was it because it entered another community, or is there some way you were able to articulate what the telltale was as to, we got to call this off?
Yes, another great question. So the officers were understanding that now we've entered into a new city. When you're in Southfield, you pretty much know where the person is going, but now he's going to an unknown at high rates of speed. So the officer made the decision, we made the best attempt that we could of apprehending him, but at this point we're going to disengage and terminate this pursuit. So it's just a judgment based on weather conditions, time of day, traffic. All these things come into play, and then that gut instinct that, you know what, I'm going to terminate this pursuit to have the community not necessarily be put in harm's way, but unfortunately, due to the suspect continuing to flee, it did collide with the innocent bystander.
My last question goes back to kind of what you talked about.
Right.
So forgive the redundancy. But there may be some in the community at large that don't think police should do this at all. Others would disagree. I guess what I'm asking you is for a comment in regard to, we're asking police to be perfect. Striking a balance between you want to pursue a suspect like this so there's no recidivism, but yet the danger inherently involved in striking that balance, it's a tough ask.
Yeah, we just have to be responsible. Certainly we're not going to always be perfect, but we have to be responsible. When you look at the pursuits that occur, we're trying to apprehend wanted dangerous felons. In this case, a person with an extended magazine who, as I mentioned before, has not only Southfield, but other communities in Southeast Michigan interested in this person as a person of interest. And then we have to really be responsible with that divide, as you mentioned. There are people who are very supportive of police, want suspects apprehended, so they will support police actions as long as they're responsible. And then you have another side who will see a pursuit and then automatically blame the police for every outcome of that. So we're going to continue to pursue vehicles responsibly. We're going to use our pit maneuvers. We're going to continue to box suspects in, and then at the appropriate time, we will continue to terminate pursuits. But understand, imagine a world where police do not pursue suspects. You're talking about total anarchy. And so we're going to continue to set the tone. What I do know, because some of the suspects have reported to our detectives, that a lot of the individuals, particularly car thieves, know that if you come to Southfield, there will be a high probability that they are going to pursue you, and a very high probability that we're going to bring you to custody. And we've shown that. And this ain't the first police pursuit I've shown you. Certainly, they ended, in a better light by our pit maneuvers, our boxing men techniques, or either suspect hit a fence and did not harm an innocent bystander. But again, we will continue to pursue vehicles who commit crimes in the city of Southfield. We will do it responsibly. We'll follow our policies and our procedures, but we're going to set a tone that if you come into our city with a crime, there will be an attempt to bring you into custody.
Just had a question about the car theft aspect of this. Are you guys seeing an increase in car thefts? And it also seems like young people, especially the teens, they have some type of obsession with these Dodge products. Right. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Southeast Michigan, we're still battling car thieves. I think one of the local news outlets recently did a story at another city nearby where they talked about the car parts were stolen. And when you look at car thieves, they really try to target cities where there is a lot of apartments, in this case, a hospital, hotels, because these vehicles are really on display for these suspects to kind of pick out what vehicle they would like. And so that's the importance of understanding the technology. I mentioned that the car was reported stolen 30 minutes prior to us coming in contact with it. Well, to give you a little hint, some of our advanced technology led us to the location of where that vehicle was located. And so we're going to continue to partner like we have. Right here in this very building, we have the Oakland County Auto Theft Task Force who work very tirelessly in auto theft cases, not only doing surveillance operations, but also they type the warrants up when these type of things occur in our city. And so with this collaboration, and I'm going to say, no agency is going to probably ever be able to eradicate it. There's so much demand for cars and car parts, and then the car thieves or whoever is behind strategizing, you see they like to use the younger individuals to go and steal these vehicles. If you ask me why I think that is, because I think they're under the impression that the youth, particularly the 16, 17-year-olds, may not face the same prosecution that an adult would. And in some cases, that's actually accurate. But we're going to continue to partner with Oakland County Auto Theft Task Force, our officers on patrol who do a great job as well at responding to calls for vehicle thefts in progress or our technology when we alerted that a car that is stolen is leaving our city or entering our city. Because what I would tell you, with these car thieves, they steal cars to steal more cars. They steal cars to break into businesses and homes. And so that's why it's important to get this individual off the street, because you got to ask yourself the question, what other crime would he committed, particularly violent crime, when he's running around here with a Glock pistol with an extended magazine? You got to ask yourself that question. Well, I'll answer it for you, because we have taken him into custody, and he's going to be held accountable for all those crimes that occurred in Oakland County and in Wayne County. Any more questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.